All right, so let's dig in. Welcome to today's webinar. We have Google with us to talk about digital marketing strategies for Stellantis dealers to capture more auto shoppers online. We're really excited to have our longtime Google Stellantis partner, Angie Kuko, with us, along with Carter Davis. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Erin Martin, the VP of Marketing here at Netsertive. We have a ton of content for you guys. We're going to try to keep it to the hour, open some things up for Q&A. And before we jump in, I also want to note one of the biggest things that's going on right now, which is the labor strike. So we know that's bringing a lot of uncertainty to marketers and what's going to happen. And just want to note a few things. And what's interesting is we can see that people have not stopped searching because there is a strike. And really, anytime there is market uncertainty, we know time and time again that the tendency is for marketing and advertising to pull back and see what's going to happen. But on the flip side, we also know that it's been proven that those who can stay top of mind and stay present digitally can actually capture more market share during uncertain times like these. So I think there's a lot of awesome content that's going to be shared today by Angie on how to approach things digitally to stay top of mind with auto shoppers. And so before we dive in, just a few quick housekeeping things. We will send out the deck and recording afterwards. There's a Q&A window where you can pop some questions in and we'll try to answer them live or at the end. And then a quick note on Netsertive. We're a digital marketing partner to over 100 multi-location brands, including the nation's top automotive groups and dealerships. We're a turnkey preferred provider for Stellantis dealers, and we use our own proprietary localization technology to execute and optimize thousands of moving parts and pieces that are required to capture local in-market demand. And we're also a premier Google partner for 10 years running now. So if you have any questions on digital marketing, hit us up after. We'd love to chat. So with that, Angie's going to lead us through some of the latest digital path to purchase, talk about creating demand and how to capture demand using AI. And then we'll take it home with a few case studies. And Carter's going to share how Stellantis dealers can take advantage of Netsertive's certified program opportunities as well. So with that, Angie, I'll kick it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I'd really love to thank my friends at Netsertive for inviting me to speak with everybody today. They are really great partners, and I'm excited to be here with you. So let's dive right in. Every year at Google, we conduct something we call the Gear Shift Study, which looks at the auto shopper's path to purchase, everything they do when they're researching before buying a car. Now, we actually got this year's study back just a couple of weeks ago, so you're really seeing it first here. So I pulled out some of the nuggets I thought would be most interesting to show you. Now, one thing this study does is it looks at how car shoppers behave over time. And one thing that we've always tracked is loyalty. So you see in this graph here that loyalty overall has been decreasing. So over the past 3 years, in blue, you see all new car buyers, and in gray, combustion engine vehicles only, so gas engines only. Interestingly, though, loyalty is actually increasing among EV buyers as those models are starting to become established. So you have an opportunity to obtain loyal customers for your hybrid electric vehicles, even though overall we've seen loyalty take a bit of a dip. Now, some of this decreasing loyalty has been driven by the general availability or lack thereof of vehicles started back with the chip shortages during the pandemic. Now, a majority of all car buyers experienced issues with availability during their last purchase. And so for roughly 20% of car buyers, this impacted their purchase decision. Some switched brands, some moved to buy a used car, and some of them were even holding off purchasing at all. In fact, because people are holding on to their vehicles longer, we're actually at an average age of vehicles on the road of 12 and a half years. That's a lot. That's one of the highest it's been in all time. So they're really looking for more reliable vehicles. That's now the number one factor when someone's making a purchase, reliability. Now, despite availability concerns and more shopping happening, the research period's actually fairly short. A majority of shoppers take less than a month to research, and 20% of people actually research for fewer than 2 weeks before buying their car. They decide they need one, they look around, and they make the purchase. Now, whether that's because they're so worried that the vehicle they want is not going to be available if they don't pull the trigger, or if they just are more informed when they come into the research process, your window of opportunity to reach them is small. So it's really important to know where to reach them. And you can reach them primarily on search engines and while they're watching videos. Those are the top information sources used by new car buyers. And that's followed by the OEM site, your dealer websites, and third party. Now, touching on that important video factor for a moment, YouTube is one of the major tools used by car shoppers to do research, especially for first time buyers, which make up about 20% of the total, and EV buyers. So, both of whom are looking for more education around the vehicles out there. And you guys, as the dealers, are really positioned best to provide that education. You are the experts, the trusted advisors out there. And so I really encourage you to have videos, be present, be there on YouTube when people are searching because they're really looking for more information. And watching videos actually leads shoppers to take those actions we care about. The number one thing they do after watching a video, visit your dealer website and followed by scheduling a test drive. So, getting out there, watching your videos, seeing what you have, learning about your vehicles is that great impetus to get them to take action. So let's talk more about how you can use video, first of all, to find those shoppers who are researching so you can create demand for your vehicles. So we're going to talk first about how you create demand. Now, here's the reason we want to talk about that. What you're looking at here is one of our Reggie graphs. We call this our Reggie tool. It illustrates for a particular segment of vehicles and market. In this case, we're looking at small SUVs for the entire United States. The percentage of sales each vehicle has, which you see along that vertical axis there on the left, and the percentage of search interest on Google each vehicle has, illustrated on that horizontal axis to the bottom. Because we really find that search correlates highly with sales. If we see people searching for particular vehicles, those tend to be the vehicles that are then bought. So if we look at this graph, a vehicle like the Toyota RAV4, which is up and to the right, has the lion's share here of both sales and search interest. Wrangler also has high search interest, even though they have fewer sales. But in their case, people are searching. You just need to capture those searches, that demand. But if we look to the right, we see that Compass, Renegade, and Cherokee have a lower share of searches. People just aren't searching for those vehicles as much. So for those cars, we would want to create demand, get people interested and start searching for them. And one way you can effectively do that is through video. Now, for decades, when we talked about reaching the maximum number of people to raise awareness about a product, we were really talking about TV. But we've reached a tipping point recently in which non-cable TV households outnumber cable subscribers. And this is only going to continue to grow. So you just can't reach that audience you used to on television. So where can you reach them? On YouTube. If we look at some of the national TV ads that Stellantis, for example, has run recently, they just weren't able to reach that all important 25 to 54 demographic on television. But 90% of the budget was spent there. But adding YouTube tactics into your screen strategy can help you maximize that reach and save money, even better. So, we actually have a tool at Google called our Local Extra Reach tool, which can show you for a particular market how digital video reach and spend compare to traditional TV reach and spend. So let's take a look at an example market. In this case, we're using Dallas and the Ram 1500. If we look at Ram's TV spend in Dallas last year, we see that $179,000 was spent in a 2-month period, August, September, resulting in 249 TRPs. Now, for those TV buyers in the room, you'll be familiar with that term. If that's new to you, TRP stands for television rating point, and it's a measure of the total reach you can get in a market. It's a bit of a complicated calculation with television, but roughly measures the total impressions divided by the total available target audience times 100. Now, our local extra reach tool can calculate TRPs that can be achieved through TV reach, YouTube reach, or a combination of the two. So for instance, in Dallas, Ram could reach 49% of the target through TV only, but by shifting 30% of that TV budget over into YouTube, they could get 20% more reach for the same investment. That's because YouTube reaches so many more viewers at a more efficient cost. So that plan from last year that spent $179,000 for 249 TRPs could have turned into 452 TRPs with 20% more reach for the same budget and at half the cost per point. Advertising on YouTube is a big opportunity because Stellantis dealers overall are being out-invested by the peer set by 1.5 times. So working with Netsertive, for example, to create a video action campaign could be one way to get your ad in front of many more shoppers on YouTube. So by using some of Google's new solutions where we're applying new technologies like AI, like artificial intelligence, to find the best shoppers for you, you can reach those interested shoppers when they're present on YouTube and show a skippable ad to them while encouraging them to take an action you care about, like getting a price quote. So you see a Jeep example here of what this would look like. So if you kind of look at this ad, you'll see that in the lower right-hand corner, a skip ad button shows up. And if you're ever on YouTube, you've probably seen that, right? You go there to watch content and then, oh man, here comes an ad that you have to watch beforehand. But luckily, if you're not interested in that product or that ad, you can skip it by pushing that skip ad button. The great news for an advertiser here is that if somebody pushes that skip ad button, you don't pay a dime. You only pay if somebody watches your ad to completion, to a 30-second completion. So that's great because it's money saving for you. And it also lets you know that if somebody sat through your entire ad, they must be interested, because otherwise we're going to skip that ad and be off to do what we came to do on YouTube. With video action campaigns, you can actually even take this a step further by including a button that is a call to action for that viewer to do more. So in this case, in this example, they have a blue button there that says explore more. But you could say, schedule a test drive, see offers, get a quote, anything that you want them to do. So you can now bid to that action. So you can run an ad, a video ad, and say, okay, I want to get this many quote requests. And so then you only have to pay if somebody clicks on getting a quote. We also have some really great ways to target video ads now that make it very, very timely and relevant. So I just wanted to show you my favorite way to target on YouTube, which is with something we call custom audiences. This is something that people asked us for years, and we refused to do it, and now we do it. So this is one reason I think it's so great. Basically, you can target your YouTube video ads to people who were searching for something specific on google.com in the past week. So right now, because this is the animation I have, we're looking at an example for ski equipment. But let's say this is a Ram 1500. You could say, I want to show my video ads only to people who were searching for pickup trucks on Google in the past week. Or maybe you want a conquest. So you want to show your ad to people who were searching for Ford F-150s in the past 7 days, or searching for your own brand. But you can get very timely and relevant by doing that targeting. And you can even take things a step further. We have other ways of making your video ads just that much more effective. One of these ways is by including an extension on your ad that costs nothing more, that opens up to allow someone to submit a lead form to you right there from your advertisement without even going through to your website. Okay, so that is one way that you could work with Netsertive to really help create that demand for any vehicles we're not seeing a lot of search for. But what if you are selling a vehicle like Grand Cherokee, Ram 1500, Wrangler that might have a lot of demand? A lot of people are already searching for those vehicles, and you just need to be there to capture it. If we go back to that Reggie graph again, we're reminded that Wrangler, for instance, has a lot of demand, right? So we just want to be there to capture it. Now, there are a lot of ways that technology is helping us find the right shoppers more easily so you can get the right message in front of the right person. So at Google, we are applying AI, or artificial intelligence, to all of our products to make them work faster and smarter for you. You can think of AI like a personal assistant, helping us do our jobs faster and make better decisions. So we actually we are very much all in on this new technology at Google. We are considering it the next big shift, the third one to be exact, because first we had the internet. And just let that sink in for a minute. We all take this amazing technology that keeps us all connected and informed for granted today. I mean, it's one way we're able to do this webinar right now. But many of us on this webinar will remember a time when if we wanted to research something, anything, it meant going down to our local library, maybe seeing what 4 or 5 books they might even have on the subject. We'd have to use things like microfiche to look at old articles, or even grab a yellow pages to figure out the hours of a local business. But now we have the internet, and all of that is at the touch of a screen. So the next big shift, as you see here, is mobile. Okay, and that was another amazing technology that was amazing enough when it was just a phone you could use anywhere and didn't need to find a payphone anymore. But now mobile phones are powerful computers in their own right. And so now we have AI. Simply put, AI is the most profound technology that we are working on today. Thanks in large part to the internet, we have an incredible amount of data out there that we can feed into computers to analyze for us. And computers now can be programmed to make predictions and generate new ideas, new things from that data. So it's a technology with endless possibilities. You know, we all think about how these technology shifts have affected us as people, but take a moment and consider the way they've affected your business. If you've been slow to adopt the internet or mobile technology, where would your dealership be right now? How much does your business depend on a reliable internet connection or mobile device usage among your staff or your customers? One day, AI is going to seem as commonplace and obvious as the internet and mobile phones do. But right now, we're just on the cusp of it. However, I would say it's a little bit more commonplace than you think. Take a look. see if I can get this video to play for you.
Every day, AI helps people with their personal lives, jobs, transportation, education, health, and more, maybe even without them realizing it. Here are some examples of AI in action on a typical day. In the morning, a teenager wakes up and uses facial recognition to unlock her phone. She scrolls through social media feeds to see what's new. Then, she asks the voice assistant on her phone what the weather is going to be like that day so she knows how to dress for school. A college student uses an app on his phone to deposit a birthday check from his grandmother. He takes a photo of the check, and the app automatically reads the handwriting to figure out the amount. It then deposits it into his account. Meanwhile, a younger student uses a different app that is teaching her a new language. The app listens to what she says and can recognize what she's saying even if she makes mistakes. The app then gives her personalized feedback on her pronunciation. At the same time, a person gets in their car to go to work, and the navigation system plans the fastest route based on current traffic. In the car, they listen to a music streaming service, which already knows what types of songs they like based on what they listened to before. Every day, AI helps people with their personal lives.
I'm going to stop that right there and continue on. But as you can see, AI is really much more present in our lives than we realize. We're using it when we talk to our smartphone assistant, when we're looking for real-time traffic, or even when online banking. So you're already using artificial intelligence every day in ways you may not have even known. But what does this even have to do with Google search? Well, like so many other ways we're adding AI into products to make them more assistive, we're doing the same with our advertising products, including Google search. Now, how we've managed our ad campaigns up until now has been relatively manual. Have we been able to improve efficiencies in the past 5 or 6 years? Yes. But our search and search advertising is still very much keyword based, focused on front end metrics such as clicks and CPCs or cost per clicks. And it has us more or less guessing how many calls, forms, traffic, and visits we'll get. So if any of you have any experience running search campaigns with us, you'll understand how this works, right? You choose your list of keywords, you write your ad, and you hope to target it to the right people who are going to then click through, give you a good click-through rate, CPC, etc. But AI is helping us to evolve. So it's creating a new experience for both Google users and for advertisers that is much more assistive and predictive in nature. One thing we know at Google is that with constantly changing technology, we have to stay nimble if we want to stay relevant. So here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that 15% of the searches we see on Google every day are brand new? We've never seen them before. 15% every day. To keep up with that rate of change, we needed to keep our experience as agile as the consumer. We had to change. So we are using AI to improve the search experience and the way that we match results to user searches. Using this new technology, we can understand our end users so much better. So we're looking at a bigger picture. We're looking at people who come to Google and we're looking at what they type in, but we're also looking at what they care about. What websites have they visited? What videos have they watched? What apps have they downloaded? How long have they been doing these things? This tells us a lot more about what somebody really cares about and allows us to get smarter about matching our search results to the right person. Because now we know if somebody has just had a baby, if someone is looking for a new job, or is in market for a new car. So one major change we're making at Google right now is we are moving away from a focus on keyword-first advertising to outcome-first advertising. Because in the end, you don't really care if someone is searching for Ram 1500. You just care if they're ready to buy a Ram 1500. So now you can tell Google what you really want, and we'll do our best to give you that outcome. So as dealers, what is it that you really want? You just want to sell cars, right? That's why we're all here. Now, you may also want some other things that let us know how likely it is that someone will buy a car, things like um, form submissions, website chat, phone calls. And using Google's AI technology, you can direct our products to optimize directly for these things. So in the past, we had to work with static limited signals. For a while there, it was just a keyword and a maximum bid you were willing to pay. So think of it like driverless cars. This was level 1 autonomous, where a person still has to do all the work. Now with AI, we can incorporate all our audience signals that we know about the searcher. So again, where are they coming from? What device are they using? What time of day is it? What's the demographics? What websites are they visiting, etc. We can even align that with any data you add in from your CRM. And then we let our machines do the heavy lifting to match the right shopper with your message. So you could now take this to a level 5 autonomous where you're letting the machine do that manual work for you, which frees everybody else up to be more strategic and really think about those creating and capture demand strategies. Now, incorporating our audience signals allows you to move away from those static signals like keywords and bids, and it's now going to direct us to your desired outcome, like leads and cost per lead, like you see here. So, as I said, this is reducing our traditional dependence on keywords to find the right shopper. Since AI helps us know so much about who's out there on our platforms, we know by a combination of behaviors whether they're actually in market, what videos they watch, which websites they're visiting, etc. So keywords just become one more signal in all of those signals we're looking at. So I have an illustration right here of why this is important. So let's take a look at 3 sample searchers who've all typed Jeep Grand Cherokee into the search bar. The first one is just looking for photos of the vehicle. The second already has a Grand Cherokee and just wants to learn how to pair her phone. And the third is actually in market and wants to talk to a dealer. Without applying AI technology, we would just bid on this keyword and our ad could show to any of these people. But the one we really want to target is number 3. And using AI, we can now show your message just to her, the in-market shopper. So let's talk about how you can take advantage of this new technology and make your ads work smarter for you. One of our brand new products that's based totally in AI is Performance Max. And this is a product that Netsertive is really well versed in and would be able to help you with as you navigate these new AI technologies. Now, this is actually more of a new campaign type than a product per se. Performance Max is the ultimate way for you to just hand Google the reins to deliver you the business outcomes you're looking for. Basically, you give Google the puzzle pieces, creative assets, audience preferences, your conversion goals, and then no matter where they are on Google properties, we will go find the shoppers for you that match your goals. So no longer do you have to separately target shoppers on search, video, and display, because in the end, it doesn't matter where they are. You just want to find them and engage them. So Performance Max allows you to do that. Using our millions of signals, we'll find that shopper in market for your vehicle and then use AI to take the puzzle pieces you gave us, automatically create ads in nanoseconds, optimized for whatever platform your shoppers are on. So if somebody we know is in market for a Jeep Grand Cherokee is on YouTube in that moment, we will take the assets you gave us and make a video ad in nanoseconds and get it in front of that shopper in that moment that matters. If they're reading their Gmail instead, we can formulate a Gmail ad and show it to them there. We're targeting the person likely to buy from you, no longer targeting just the platform. Now, I just mentioned that by using Performance Max, you no longer have to have a need to have separate individual campaigns for video or search. And that is certainly an option. But you can continue to do that if you would like, and you can use PMax, Performance Max, to sort of fill in the gaps. So if you are currently running a search campaign, your PMax campaign will show ads when there's a gap, when perhaps we identify a shopper in market for your car, but maybe they're not searching on one of the keywords in your list, for instance. So this helps you find incremental value. Now, because PMax campaigns are optimizing to the outcomes you give it, we're seeing advertisers get about 18% more conversions in these campaigns than in their standard campaigns. But you don't need to take our word for it. We have several case studies from advertisers testing this out. NorCal Toyota is one of them. They're actually running PMax to sell new cars, and they were able to achieve a 70% increase in conversions at a low 94% lower cost per action than they were seeing in their standard search campaigns. Now, I want to touch for a moment also on another product we've rolled out for dealers, and which you probably are already familiar with. And if not, we're going to talk about it for a moment, and that's vehicle ads. Now, this product, which is actually a part of the Google Shopping platform, allows you to give us an inventory feed so that your available vehicles can show at the top of the Google search results page, like you see here on the right. And they'll show when someone is searching for a vehicle that matches one in your feed. These ads allow you to get all of that important vehicle information in front of a user before they ever even click through to your website. So it gives you the ability to show photos, pricing, and location information. Now, vehicle ads were recently rolled into the PMax campaign type. And this is going to help us apply more signals to your feed and allow you to show your inventory in more places across Google. So you can see the traditional vehicle ad iteration to the left and how it would look on other platforms to the right. And of course, we have a case study for this as well. One of our larger auto groups that we work with here, Ken Garf, tested these for us as one of the alpha advertisers, and they were able to drive a 35% greater conversion value when they ran these vehicle ads in their Performance Max campaigns. So we're seeing early results be very positive, and we're going to continue watching this as we move people over to PMax. So quick recap for you. How would you take action when you go back to your dealership? The first thing that you could do is work to create demand for vehicles that aren't being searched necessarily right now. And the best way to do that is to go to YouTube and show a video ad to somebody, because that's the best way to create demand with the most reach at the most efficient cost. And second, you're going to want to capture demand either for vehicles that are already being searched a lot, or for those vehicles you're working to create demand for. You can do this by using Google AI to capture that demand with PMax and vehicle ads. And remember that you can increase your total conversions by at least 18% trying out this new format. And finally, staying aware of the trends is very important. So I just shared some of those with you at the beginning of this presentation. But understanding that brand loyalty has been declining, and that can be maybe seen as a bit of a threat, but it's also an opportunity for you to gain new shoppers that have been with other brands. Also understand that people are holding on to their cars longer. They're looking for reliability. So that's a great message to put out there for new cars. And also it's an opportunity actually to move parts and service. And finally, the research window is short. So using these audience signals that we have at Google makes it easier and faster to reach the right people and get your message in front of them. And with that, I am going to hand it back over to Netsertive to just talk a little bit more about some of the great things they're doing for you.
Thanks, Angie. And real quick before I jump in, we did get one question that came in.
Okay.
Asked, I've seen many Google Analytics reports showing low interest for Ram truck. I was wondering if that includes Dodge truck, as many people still search Dodge for Ram. So kind of getting at that keyword and intent and what's behind.
That's a fabulous question. Actually, I was just talking about this last week with some of my colleagues. The number one keyword searched for Ram is Dodge Ram. So even though it's been years since Stellantis moved those brands apart, the average Joe on the street still doesn't know that. They didn't really put a lot of work branding that behind there when they first did it. And so we're still seeing that. So my recommendation to you, when you're running keywords for Ram, always include the keyword Dodge Ram. But I would also say, as you start using more of these AI products, you won't need to worry about it as much because we will actually know if the person you're targeting is in market for your Ram truck.
Very cool. Thanks, Angie.
Yeah.
And to close us out, I wanted to show you an example that we have of both creating and capturing demand using video and YouTube, like Angie was talking a ton about. It's actually a very cool capability that we have at Netsertive that we developed with Google via a custom YouTube API. And it allows you to run a brand compliant video ad across YouTube, like Angie was showing, that also has a dynamically localized overlay on top of it. So as you can see on the bottom here, it actually shows the viewer the closest dealership's information or location based on their IP address. So Stellantis dealers can take advantage of this, and with our certified co-op opportunities that Carter's going to talk about in a second, to be able to use approved assets to drive brand awareness, but also capture local demand. So you can use a beautifully produced Jeep ad, and if the viewer's in Denver, like this example, then you're going to see their website, phone number. You could include the address for this Chrysler Jeep dealer that's located on Broadway in Denver. So advertisers and marketers love this because it does the 1-2 punch of the best of both worlds, driving that demand with brand awareness and capturing it with a local call to action. So I'll pass it to Carter, who's going to talk a little bit about how you can take advantage of everything that Angie and I talked about with Netsertive.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Angie. Ton of great information. So a couple of things with Netsertive specifically and the Stellantis marketing program. So with Netsertive, we are a turnkey provider, meaning that signing up, running your program, all of it is certified completely through the Stellantis program across all of the different manufacturers they have. And this opens you up to a couple of things. So you've got your promotions and heavy ups that happen over the course of the year. So things like Jeep Boost, the Ram heavy ups, and some of these model specific, as well as the BCDF funds. And for anybody that may or may not be aware of the BCDF funds, so they're the business center direct funds, and it's a certain amount of money that's allocated to a dealer based on the number of vehicles sold the previous month. And one of the ways that we look specifically at the BCDF funds is it's a great way to either test a potential product that we maybe been talking about. So I know, Angie, you gave a bunch of information on Performance Max. That's one of the products available through the BCDF funds. So if that's something you've been talking about, looking to test, looking to see what the impact is, that's a great way to utilize the funds. It also opens you up to a number of different channels underneath both search, display, videos that you might not currently be running. So instead of taking those BCDF funds and just kind of adding them to an existing bucket or an existing channel you're already running, let's be as strategic as possible, make sure to maximize those dollars, use it in an area that can really enhance your marketing, open up the visibility, and get you in front of new customers. And then finally, with that and with the funds, everything that we're doing is going to be co-op compliant through Stellantis. So again, that's going to maximize the funding, maximize the return that you're seeing. And with the high Google quality score that we have, that means a potential media discount up to about 40%, which really multiplies your impact with the same budget versus potentially going somewhere else or running off program or something along those lines.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carter, and thank you again, Angie, for all of the awesome content. And thank you to everyone who joined us live. Like I said, we'll be sending out the slides and the recording in the next day or two. And if you'd like to talk about any opportunities with Netsertive, hit us up. We'd love to connect and talk digital marketing. So hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining.
Thank you all.
Thank you.